a forgotten kingdom. While Athens was busy debating philosophy and Sparta was training soldiers, Thessaly was raising horses and probably thinking, someone has to feed these people. Thessaly, located in the fertile northern plains of Greece, has long been overshadowed by the more famous city-states of Athens and Sparta, yet it played a crucial role in the development of the ancient Greek world. Known for its vast agricultural wealth, powerful cavalry, and mythical heroes, Thessaly was a land of kings, warriors, and fertile fields that supplied much of Greece with grain and livestock. Despite its contributions, Thessaly's significance is often overlooked in favor of the political drama of Athens or the military prowess of Sparta. But Thessaly's legacy goes far beyond farming. It was a region rich in resources, ruled by powerful aristocratic families, and home to some of the most famous figures of Greek mythology. The vast Thessalian plains not only produced food, but also nurtured some of the best horses in Greece, leading to the development of a formidable cavalry that would leave its mark on numerous battles and alliances throughout Greek history. Let's take a journey through this forgotten kingdom, exploring how Thessaly, with its warriors, horses, and kings, shaped the ancient world in ways often forgotten, but no less impactful. Nestled between the towering Mount Olympus and the Pegasus Mountains, Thessaly's geographical location made it an agricultural powerhouse. The region's fertile plains, especially the Polina Valley and plains of Larissa, were famous for producing grain, cattle, and horses. Thessaly's lush land earned it the title of the Breadbasket of Greece, supplying much of the grain that fed the armies and cities of the Greek world. The wealth generated from these vast farmlands not only supported Thessaly's economy, but also funded the region's military ventures, particularly its famous cavalry. The prosperity of the Thessalians was so well known that they were often regarded as aristocrats among the Greek states, maintaining strong connections with both Athens and Sparta, even while managing their own political conflicts and power struggles. Despite its economic strength, Thessaly remained politically fragmented for much of its history. The region was divided into several powerful cities, such as Larissa, Pharsalus, and Pherae, each ruled by aristocratic families who often clashed with one another for dominance. However, when the Thessaly cities managed to unite, usually under a strong leader, the region could exert considerable influence over the rest of Greece. Thessaly often operated in the background of major Greek events, but its influence was essential. For example, during the Persian Wars, while Athens and Sparta led the charge against Persia, Thessaly played a critical role by supplying much-needed cavalry and resources to support the Greek war effort. The Thessalian cavalry, widely regarded as the best in Greece, was a crucial factor in defending against Persian invasions. Moreover, Thessaly's vast agricultural production helped sustain other Greek city-states in times of war, famine, and economic hardship. With its rich natural resources and wealth, Thessaly was often sought after as an ally or, at times, feared as a potential rival. Yet, despite its power, Thessaly never quite achieved the same level of political unity as Athens or Sparta, often leaving it vulnerable to internal conflicts and external manipulation. In fact, the political structure of Thessaly was less centralized, more like a federation of cities with powerful aristocratic families vying for control. This constant power struggle often kept Thessaly from becoming a dominant force in Greek politics, but it remained an important player through its strategic alliances with other states. Thessaly was like that friend who never quite gets the spotlight, but is always there to help out. Athens and Sparta might have been the popular kids of Greece, but Thessaly was the reliable one, making sure the whole party didn't fall apart. Thessaly is not just important for its political and military contributions, it's also a region steeped in mythology. According to legend, it was home to Achilles, one of the greatest heroes of the Trojan War, who was raised by Peleus, king of the Thessalian city of Pherae. Achilles' legendary prowess in battle and his larger-than-life character are deeply tied to Thessaly's reputation as a land of strong, courageous warriors. The region is also connected to the myth of Jason and the Argonauts. Jason, who sought the Golden Fleece, was born in Iolcos, another Thessalian city, and it was from here that he launched his legendary expedition aboard the ship Argo. Thessaly's mythical heritage added to its identity as a land of great heroes, tying its history to the broader tapestry of Greek myth and legend. Moreover, Mount Pelion, located in Thessaly, was said to be the home of the centaurs, including Chiron, who was a mentor to many heroes of Greek mythology, such as Achilles, Heracles, and Asclepius, the god of medicine. Thessaly, with its dramatic landscapes, became a backdrop for many of the adventures and teachings that shaped these mythical figures. Despite its strategic importance, Thessaly's political instability eventually led to its decline. After the death of Jason of Pherae in 370 BCE, one of Thessaly's most powerful rulers, the region fell into a period of disunity and internal conflict, making it vulnerable to outside powers. Thessaly became a target for Macedonian expansion, and under Philip II of Macedon, it was brought under Macedonian control, further diminishing its independence and influence. However, Thessaly's legacy persisted, particularly through its contributions to Greek military tactics and agriculture. Its cavalry techniques continued to influence military strategies throughout the Hellenistic period, and its vast farmlands remained crucial for feeding the population of the Greek world and later the Roman Empire. The land of the best horses in Greece, Thessaly was known throughout the ancient Greek world for one thing above all: horses. The vast, fertile plains of Thessaly were ideal for raising strong, fast, and powerful horses that were not only prized in times of peace, but also essential in times of war. Thessalian horses were legendary, and their riders among the best trained cavalrymen in Greece played pivotal roles in battles across the Greek world. From training techniques to breeding practices, Thessaly's mastery over horsemanship became a cornerstone of its identity and a key factor in its military strength. While other Greek states relied on infantry troops, Thessaly's real might lay in its cavalry. The region's horses and horsemen were so highly regarded that even powerful leaders like Philip II of Macedon sought to secure Thessalian cavalry for his own conquests. Whether in myth, where Thessaly's connection to horses is symbolized by the winged Pegasus, or in the very real battles of Greek history, Thessaly's equestrian tradition helped shape its legacy. Thessaly's natural geography was a huge advantage in its rise as the premier horse-breeding region in Greece. The Thessalian plains, particularly around the cities of Larissa and Pharsalus, were wide, flat, and fertile, ideal conditions for grazing and raising horses. While other Greek regions were more mountainous and rugged, making horse-rearing difficult, Thessaly had the space and resources to focus on developing strong, fast, and well-trained horses. These horses became symbols of wealth and power. Thessalian aristocrats, particularly from families like the Aleuadae, took great pride in their ability to breed the best horses, and owning Thessalian horses was a status symbol for the elite across Greece. Thessalian horse breeders were experts at producing animals suited for war, racing, and ceremonial purposes, and their horses were in high demand throughout the ancient world. While Thessalian horses were renowned, it was the Thessalian cavalry that truly set the region apart. Thessaly's cavalrymen were not only well-equipped and well-trained, but they also had a natural advantage thanks to the exceptional quality of their horses. As a result, Thessalian cavalry units were considered the most formidable in all of Greece, playing crucial roles in battles from the Peloponnesian War to the later Macedonian conquests. The Thessalian cavalry was particularly known for its tactical flexibility. Unlike the heavily armored infantry that dominated Greek warfare like the hoplites of Sparta, cavalry could move quickly across the battlefield, outflanking enemies and launching swift, decisive strikes. Thessalian cavalrymen were trained to fight both with javelins and lances, allowing them to adapt to various battlefield situations. Thessali's reputation for military excellence was closely tied to its cavalry, which was frequently hired as mercenary forces by other Greek city-states. The Thessalian cavalry fought alongside Spartan, Athenian, and Theban armies in various conflicts, tipping the balance in many crucial battles. During the Peloponnesian War, for example, the Thessalian horsemen provided key support to Spartan and Boeotian forces. Their ability to quickly strike at vulnerable enemy flanks and retreat before a counterattack made them invaluable in open field engagements, where speed and mobility were decisive factors. What made Thessalian horses so sought after wasn't just their speed or strength, it was the combination of careful breeding and rigorous training that made them exceptional. Thessalian horse breeders focused on producing horses with the ideal balance of endurance, speed, and agility. By selectively breeding only the best horses, they created lines of horses that were perfectly suited for the rigors of both warfare and competitive racing. Training began early. Thessalian horses were introduced to military drills from a young age, learning how to charge into battle, respond to their riders' commands with precision, and remain calm amid the chaos of war. The riders, too, were trained from childhood in the art of horsemanship. Young boys, especially from the aristocracy, learned to ride before they could even walk properly. This early start helped create a strong bond between horse and rider, an essential aspect of cavalry warfare. The Thessalian technique of horse training was admired throughout Greece, and even Macedonian kings like Philip II and Alexander the Great sought to learn from the Thessalians' expertise. Philip, in particular, used the Thessalian cavalry to great effect during his campaigns, and Alexander's own horse, Bucephalus, though not from Thessaly, was trained in a similar tradition of excellence. Thessaly's connection to horses wasn't just practical, it was also deeply tied to Greek mythology. According to legend, the mythical horse Pegasus, a majestic winged steed, was born from the blood of Medusa when she was slain by the hero Perseus. Pegasus was said to have landed on the slopes of Mount Pelion, a mountain in Thessaly, where he became a symbol of the region's deep connection to both horses and the divine. Pegasus was eventually tamed by the hero Bellerophon, who rode the winged horse into battle against the Chimera. This myth reflects the Thessalian mastery over horses. Just as Bellerophon controlled the wild Pegasus, the Thessalians tamed their land's powerful steeds and used them to dominate the battlefield. Beyond Pegasus, Thessaly's mythology is also tied to Chiron, the wise centaur who lived on Mount Pelion and trained many Greek heroes, including Achilles and Jason. Thessaly's landscape, steeped in myth, reinforced its identity as a land of horsemen and heroes, where the line between legend and reality was often blurred. Throughout Greek history, the Thessalian cavalry was a game changer on the battlefield. While Greek warfare was traditionally dominated by heavy infantry, the famous hoplites, who fought in tight formations, the speed and agility of Thessalian horsemen allowed them to strike quickly and retreat before the enemy could respond. In battles fought on open ground, Thessalian cavalry was often the decisive factor. During the Peloponnesian War and other conflicts, Thessalian cavalry played a crucial role in numerous engagements. Their ability to outmaneuver enemy infantry and harass them from a distance with javelins made them indispensable to Greek commanders. Later, during the rise of Macedon, Philip II and Alexander the Great relied heavily on Thessalian cavalry to expand their empire, using the speed and discipline of Thessalian horsemen to crush enemies and conquer vast territories. Thessalian horsemen were not only warriors, they were tacticians, capable of turning the tide of battle with a well-timed cavalry charge or a strategic feint. Their importance in the wars of ancient Greece cannot be overstated, and their legacy as masters of cavalry warfare is a testament to Thessaly's enduring influence. The political history of Thessaly may have been known for its fertile land and powerful cavalry, but behind the scenes, it was a region of complex political intrigue. Unlike more centralized city-states like Athens or Sparta, Thessaly was a loosely federated region ruled by powerful aristocratic families and kings, each vying for control. While Thessaly's wealth and military strength made it an important player in Greek politics, it was often plagued by internal conflicts and power struggles that prevented it from reaching its full potential as a unified force. At different points in history, Thessaly found itself under the rule of kings, tyrants, and aristocrats, and it frequently shifted alliances with other Greek powers such as Sparta, Athens, and Thebes. The region's political history is one of both ambition and division, as various rulers sought to unify Thessaly, with varying degrees of success. Let's delve into the fascinating, and sometimes chaotic, political landscape of Thessaly's kings and power struggles. In the early days of Greek history, Thessaly was ruled by a series of kings who wielded significant influence over their territories. These early monarchs, often linked to powerful aristocratic families, controlled vast areas of land and maintained their dominance through alliances with other Greek city-states and regional powers. Thessaly's early kings were more like feudal lords, overseeing local territories rather than a unified kingdom, but their power and wealth were undeniable. The aristocratic families who controlled Thessaly, such as the Aleuadae of Larissa and the Scopads of Cranon, were deeply entrenched in Thessalian politics. They maintained their influence through a mix of military power, wealth, and strategic marriages. These families were not always cooperative with one another, which led to frequent rivalries and conflicts that hindered the region's political unity. Despite this fragmentation, Thessaly's kings were often able to assert their dominance through cavalry raids and diplomacy, managing to play an influential role in larger Greek affairs. The early kings established a political tradition in Thessaly that would see the region rise and fall under various rulers in the centuries to come. Think of Thessaly's kings as the original medieval lords, except with fewer castles and way more horses. The Aleuadae family, based in the city of Larissa, emerged as one of the most powerful aristocratic families in Thessaly, and their influence extended beyond their home city. By leveraging their wealth and military power, the Aleuadae family attempted to bring the region under their control and create a more unified Thessalian state. They were instrumental in forming alliances with other Greek states, including Persia during the Greco-Persian Wars, where Thessalian forces initially sided with the Persians. The Aleuadae family's ambition for control over Thessaly often brought them into conflict with other local rulers, creating a constant power struggle. However, they were also successful in consolidating power at times, acting as rulers over a large portion of Thessaly and maintaining close ties with both Thebes and Macedon. This family was an example of the intricate web of alliances and rivalries that characterized Thessalian politics. Their rise to power demonstrated the complex nature of Thessalian politics, where no single king or family could claim total control for long without facing opposition from other powerful factions. One of the most intriguing figures in Thessalian political history is Jason of Pherae, a military leader and tyrant who sought to transform Thessaly into a dominant power in Greece. Rising to prominence in the early 4th century BCE, Jason of Pherae was a charismatic and ambitious ruler who united much of Thessaly under his control, making him one of the most powerful men in Greece during his time. Jason's ambition went beyond merely unifying Thessaly. He aimed to create a pan-Hellenic league to unite the Greek city-states under his leadership, with the goal of launching a military campaign against Persia. To achieve this, he built one of the largest armies in Greece, including the famed Thessalian cavalry. His military might made him a formidable force, and many Greek cities, including Thebes and Athens, were wary of his growing power. However, Jason's dreams of greatness were cut short when he was assassinated in 370 BCE, likely by rivals within Thessaly who feared his increasing control. His death plunged Thessaly into chaos, and the unity he had fought to create quickly dissolved as rival factions scrambled for power. Thessaly's political history is marked by its shifting alliances and rivalries with other Greek states. Throughout its history, Thessaly often played a balancing role in the larger conflicts between Athens, Sparta, Thebes, and Macedon. During the Peloponnesian War, Thessaly initially sided with Athens but later switched allegiances, providing cavalry to Spartan forces in key battles. Thessaly's position as a wealthy and militarily capable region made it an attractive ally, and its famous cavalry was frequently hired out as mercenaries by other Greek states. However, Thessaly's internal divisions often prevented it from fully capitalizing on its strength. The region was frequently manipulated by more unified powers like Thebes and Macedon, who took advantage of Thessaly's political fragmentation. Under the leadership of Jason of Pherae, Thessaly briefly emerged as a central player in Greek politics, but after his assassination, the region once again fell into disarray. The city-states of Thessaly returned to their factional rivalries, making the region vulnerable to external influence, particularly from Macedon. Thessaly's political disunity eventually led to its conquest by Philip II of Macedon in the mid-4th century BCE. Philip recognized the strategic importance of Thessaly's cavalry and fertile lands, and he moved swiftly to bring the region under Macedonian control. By forming alliances with the Aleuade family and other powerful Thessalian aristocrats, Philip was able to consolidate his influence over the region. Thessaly became a key part of Philip's empire, providing resources and soldiers for his military campaigns, including his eventual conquest of much of Greece. The Battle of Chaeronea in 338 BCE, where Philip defeated the combined forces of Athens and Thebes, was a turning point in Greek history, and Thessalian cavalry played a decisive role in Philip's victory. Under Macedonian rule, Thessaly's political autonomy was diminished, but its military and economic contributions became even more important as Philip and later Alexander the Great expanded their empire. Thessaly's famed cavalry continued to serve as elite units in the Macedonian army, playing crucial roles in battles across Greece and Persia. Heroes and warriors of Thessaly. Thessaly is often remembered as a land of mythical heroes and formidable warriors, whose stories have echoed through the ages. From the legendary Achilles, a symbol of Greek heroism raised in the fields of Thessaly, to the real-life warriors who led the region in historical battles, Thessaly's contribution to the Greek ideal of the warrior hero is undeniable. While the great philosophers and lawmakers of Athens were celebrated for their wisdom, and the Spartans revered for their military discipline, Thessaly offered its own breed of hero, brave, strong, and often larger than life. Thessalian warriors, both mythical and historical, were renowned for their prowess in battle. The stories of their deeds, whether in the pages of Homer's epics or in the accounts of Greek historians, reflect a culture that valued courage and martial excellence. Let's take a closer look at some of the key figures, both real and legendary, who made Thessaly famous for its heroes and warriors. If there's one name that is forever linked with heroism in Greek mythology, it's Achilles. Known as the greatest warrior of the Trojan War, Achilles was said to be invincible in battle except, of course, for his famous heel. While the epic Iliad immortalizes Achilles for his role in the Trojan War, few people remember that he was raised in the kingdom of Pherae, a region of Thessaly. Achilles was born to Peleus, king of Pherae, and the sea nymph Thetis, making him both royal and divine. Raised in the rugged lands of Thessaly, he was tutored by the wise centaur Chiron, who taught him everything from archery and medicine to ethics and leadership. It was in Thessaly's mountains and fields that Achilles developed the skills and strength that would make him the greatest warrior of his time. Achilles' connection to Thessaly is more than just a footnote in his legend. It highlights Thessaly's status as a breeding ground for heroes. His upbringing in Thessaly, along with the training he received from Chiron, links the region not only to myth but to the ideal of the Greek hero, a figure of unmatched strength, courage, and virtue. Jason and the Argonauts. Thessaly also claims Jason, the hero who led the Argonauts on the famous quest for the Golden Fleece, as one of its own. Jason was born in Iolcos, a city in Thessaly, and his journey to retrieve the fleece, symbolizing kingship and divine favor, became one of the greatest adventures in Greek mythology. According to legend, Jason's right to the throne of Iolcos was usurped by his uncle Peleus, who sent him on the seemingly impossible quest to reclaim the fleece, hoping Jason would never return. The story of Jason and the Argonauts captures the spirit of adventure and the pursuit of glory, the traits deeply valued in Thessalian culture. Jason gathered a crew of the greatest heroes of his time, including Heracles, Orpheus, and Atalanta, and sailed aboard the Argo to the far-off land of Colchis in search of the fleece. The journey was fraught with danger, but Jason's determination and bravery ultimately led him to succeed, with the help of the sorceress Medea. Jason's origins in Thessaly further tie the region to Greek myth and legend, cementing its place as a land of heroes and epic adventures. The hero's journey, filled with trials and triumphs, reflects the values that the Thessalians admired in their own warriors: courage, resilience, and the drive to overcome impossible odds. Beyond the realm of myth, the Thessalian warriors were known for their bravery and skill in real-life battles. Thessaly's famous cavalry, as mentioned earlier, was a major asset in many conflicts, but the infantry and archers of Thessaly were also highly respected. The Thessalian warriors fought alongside other Greek forces in many of the major wars of the ancient world, often as mercenaries hired for their combat skills. In the Greco-Persian Wars, the Thessalian warriors initially sided with the Persians, largely due to internal divisions and political pressures. However, the Thessalian cavalry would later support Greek forces in key battles, particularly in the Peloponnesian War, where Thessalian horsemen fought for both Sparta and Athens at different times. In these wars, the Thessalian warriors proved to be adaptable and fiercely loyal to their commanders, whether fighting for their own interests or as hired soldiers. Their reputation as mercenaries spread across the ancient world, with the Thessalians frequently employed in conflicts as far away as Sicily and Egypt. One of the most fascinating historical figures connected to Thessaly is Pelopidas, the Theban general who led the famous sacred band of Thebes. While Pelopidas was not born in Thessaly, he had strong ties to the region and used Thessalian forces in several of his campaigns, especially in his efforts to check Spartan dominance in Greece during the 4th century BCE. Pelopidas, along with his fellow Theban leader Epaminondas, is credited with leading the Thebans to victory against the Spartans at the Battle of Leuctra in 371 BCE, where the sacred band defeated the supposedly invincible Spartan hoplites. Following this victory, Pelopidas turned his attention to Thessaly, where he sought to liberate the region from tyrants and restore stability. Pelopidas' use of Thessalian cavalry during his campaigns further solidified the region's reputation as a military powerhouse. His ability to unite Theban and Thessalian forces created a formidable alliance that challenged Spartan and later Macedonian power. Though Pelopidas was ultimately killed in battle, his legacy as a brilliant military commander lives on, and his connection to Thessaly underscores the region's importance in Greek warfare. The heroes and warriors of Thessaly, both mythical and historical, have left an enduring legacy that stretches far beyond the region's borders. Figures like Achilles, Jason, and Pelopidas helped shape the ideals of Greek heroism, courage, loyalty, and a willingness to fight for honor and glory. Thessaly's warriors were admired not just for their physical prowess, but for their ability to overcome great challenges, whether on the battlefield or in the face of seemingly impossible quests. Thessaly's contribution to Greek military and cultural life cannot be overstated. Its heroes were central to some of the most important myths and Greek tradition, while its warriors fought in some of the most decisive battles in Greek history. The region's dedication to producing brave and capable fighters has cemented its place in the pantheon of ancient Greek war culture. From mythical heroes to real-life generals, Thessaly had more than its fair share of warriors. If you needed a hero for your war or your legend, Thessaly was the place to look. The legacy of Thessaly, often overshadowed by the likes of Athens and Sparta, left an indelible mark on Greek history and culture. While it may not have been at the forefront of political power or intellectual discourse, Thessaly's contributions to military strength, mythology, and the Greek economy were critical to the success of the ancient Greek world. From its fertile plains that fed much of Greece, to its legendary warriors and horses that influenced military tactics, Thessaly's legacy is woven into the fabric of Greek civilization. Though its political power waned after the rise of Macedon under Philip II and Alexander the Great, Thessaly's influence persisted through its military traditions, mythological heroes, and its role as a key agricultural hub. Let's explore how Thessaly's legacy has endured through time and continues to shape our understanding of ancient Greece today. Thessaly was known as the breadbasket of Greece for a reason. Its vast plains were among the most fertile in the ancient world. While other regions struggled with rocky terrain or scarce resources, Thessaly's flat and fertile land allowed for extensive grain production, making it a critical supplier of food for much of Greece. The Thessalian plains, particularly around Larissa and Pharsalus, were ideal for growing wheat and other crops, and Thessalian grain was often shipped to other Greek city-states to sustain their populations, especially during times of war or famine. In addition to grain, Thessaly was also known for its cattle and horse breeding. The region's ability to produce not only food, but also valuable livestock made it a crucial part of the Greek economy. Thessalian cattle were prized throughout the Greek world, and the region's horses, as we've seen, were second to none. The wealth generated by Thessaly's agriculture allowed the aristocratic families of the region to build powerful city-states, support large armies, and exert influence in Greek politics. Thessaly's agricultural success wasn't just important in ancient times, it continued to be a vital part of the region's identity well into the Roman period. Under Roman rule, Thessaly remained a key source of grain and livestock, helping to feed the expanding Roman Empire. Even today, Thessaly is one of Greece's most important agricultural regions, maintaining its ancient legacy as a fertile and productive land. One of the most significant impacts of Thessaly came through its influence on Macedon. Thessaly's rich agricultural resources and its famed cavalry made it a prime target for Macedonian expansion under Philip II. Philip recognized the importance of controlling Thessaly not only for its wealth and resources but also for its strategic military advantages. By forging alliances with Thessalian aristocrats like the Aleuadae, Philip was able to secure the Thessalians' loyalty and integrate its powerful cavalry into the Macedonian army. The Thessalian cavalry played a crucial role in Philip's military campaigns, and later, under Alexander the Great, the Thessalian horsemen became an essential part of his conquests. Alexander relied heavily on the Thessalian cavalry during his campaigns in Persia, using their speed and maneuverability to outflank enemy forces and secure decisive victories. Without the contribution of the Thessalian horsemen, Alexander's military successes might have looked very different. The Thessalians' influence on Macedonian military strategy was profound. The region's expertise in horse breeding and cavalry tactics helped shape the combined arms approach that defined Macedonian warfare. The success of Philip and Alexander's armies, which combined the might of Macedonian infantry with the agility of the Thessalian cavalry, owed much to the lessons learned from the Thessalians' centuries of experience in warfare. The Thessalians' role in Greek mythology helped solidify its place in the broader cultural identity of Greece. As the birthplace of heroes like Achilles and Jason, Thessaly was celebrated as a land of legendary figures. These mythological connections helped reinforce the idea that Thessaly was a land of bravery and heroism, where great deeds were performed and gods walked among mortals. The myths of Thessaly contributed to the Greek cultural narrative of heroism, particularly through figures like Achilles, who became the embodiment of the ideal warrior. The legend of Jason and the Argonauts, which began in the city of Iolcos, added to the Thessalians' mystique as a land of daring adventures and epic quests. These myths not only shaped how Thessaly was viewed by other Greeks, but also influenced literature, art, and theater for centuries to come. In addition to its mythological heroes, Thessali's unique geography, particularly the Mount Pelion region, played a role in Greek religious practices. Chiron, the wise centaur who lived on Mount Pelion, was a mentor to many Greek heroes, and the mountain itself was seen as a place of mystical significance. This connection to both myth and religion made Thessaly a culturally important region, even as its political influence declined. After the rise of Macedon and the conquest of Alexander the Great, Thessaly continued to play an important role during the Roman era. Though no longer an independent power, Thessaly remained a key part of the Roman Empire, especially as a source of grain and other agricultural products. The Romans, like the Greeks before them, valued the Thessali's fertile lands, and the region became an important supplier of food for the growing empire. The Thessali's strategic location also made it a valuable region during the Roman civil wars, and the area saw significant military activity during the rise of Julius Caesar and the conflicts with Pompey. The Battle of Pharsalus in 48 BCE, one of the most decisive battles in Roman history, was fought in Thessaly. It was here that Caesar defeated Pompey, securing his position as the dominant leader of Rome and paving the way for the transition from the Roman Republic to the Roman Empire. During the Roman era, Thessaly maintained its identity as a region of agricultural wealth and military importance, even as its political autonomy disappeared. The Romans incorporated Thessalian cavalry into their armies, much like the Macedonians before them, and the Thessalian farms continued to feed the empire's legions. Today, Thessaly is often overshadowed in discussions of ancient Greek history, its role sometimes lost between the more famous tales of Athens, Sparta, and Macedon. Yet the region's contributions were vital to the functioning and success of the Greek world. Thessali's agricultural wealth, its military innovations, and its place in mythology ensured that it left a lasting mark on Greek history. In modern times, Thessaly remains one of Greece's key agricultural regions, continuing the tradition that began thousands of years ago. Its historical importance is celebrated in local festivals and monuments, though it often remains in the background compared to more well-known historical regions. However, Thessali's legacy can still be felt in the cultural memory of Greece. The myths of Achilles and Jason, the heroic deeds of Thessalian warriors, and the region's contributions to agriculture and warfare are reminders of its once central role in the ancient world. Though often overlooked in the grand narrative of ancient Greek history, Thessaly played a pivotal role in shaping the world of its time. Its fertile land sustained cities, its warriors helped win battles, and its heroes became legends. From the epic stories of Achilles and Jason to the real-world impact of its cavalry and agriculture, Thessaly's contributions were vital to the success of ancient Greece and beyond. The legacy of Thessaly endures not just in the fields of Greece, but in the stories and traditions that have been passed down through the centuries, reminding us that even the forgotten corners of history often hold the keys to understanding the bigger picture.
By my side, intense, strong, no fear to face, nowhere to hide, intense. I subscribe to this channel, click like today, because content like this just lights my way. Intense and slow.